Hi everybody, we're here in Davenport, Florida. We're at a property that's listed by Michael Hugelak of Preferred Real Estate Brokers. Please click the link below to get a little bit more information on this property so you can reach out to Michael if you have any buyers that are interested in purchasing this beautiful property. Ahmad here from Landtrust Title of Central Florida. Let's talk title. Today, I'm here in this beautiful property at 417 Pinecrest Loop in Davenport, Florida. This property is located in a very central location, has access to US 27 and I-4. And this property is located here in Davenport, Florida in an HOA community. Now, what I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about with you guys today is the importance of communicating with the title company, especially as it relates to whether or not the property is in an HOA community. And the reason for that is, as part of our processing, the title company is going to request not only a title search, but we're also going to want to get information from the HOA that's going to be very relevant to getting the transaction closed properly and on time as well. Now, the HOA is going to provide us what's called an HOA estoppel. Florida statutes dictate that HOAs are required to provide information to us in a certain amount of time, and so it's important for us to make sure that we're getting that request over to the HOA early on in the transaction so we don't deal with any kind of back-end delays that will cause the transaction to have to extend for any reason. So the HOA estoppel gives us a lot of important information. First, it's going to give us numbers. What does the buyer have to bring to the table? Is there a capital contribution that the buyer might need to bring to the table? Are there any back due amounts owed by the seller? And this is important because we want to make sure that when the buyer purchases the property, they purchase the property free and clear of any issues that might have existed in the file as related to the seller or any previous seller as well. And this is important for a second fact too, and that is that if the file has been in arrears for long enough, a lot of times HOAs will send those files over to an attorney that then attempts to collect those back due amounts. Now, the difference between requesting an estoppel from an HOA and requesting information from a law firm is law firms are not bound by the same rules as HOA. So those statutory protections that are in place that require HOAs to provide information in a timely fashion don't apply to those law firms as well. So we are beholden to those powers at that point. And so if the file is with an attorney's office, we want to make sure we're requesting that information because we're still going to have to collect the estoppel from the HOA, and we're going to have to collect the financial breakdown, what the collection arrearage is from the attorney's office, and we're going to want to collect that early on in the transaction so that if we need to continue to communicate with the attorney's office, we can do so. And a lot of times those attorney's offices delay their response to us, so we want to make sure that we're doing everything in a timely fashion. We also want to make sure that the HOA doesn't have any particular contingencies. So a lot of times associations will have rights of first refusal when a property is being sold, and more importantly, whether we want to determine whether or not the association has a buyer process to make sure that the buyer is approved. And if that's the case, we want to make sure that the HOA receives that information regarding the buyer early on in the process so that if there's any information that they need to collect, they can do so from the buyer early on. We avoid any kind of delays down the road. So we want to make sure that this information is collected in a timely fashion. And in order to do so, the real estate agents and the title company should communicate often and early in the transaction. And here at Landtrust Title of Central Florida, because we're attorney owned and operated, not only are we collecting this information early on, but if we need to, we can communicate with the HOA and we can communicate with an attorney's office in case the file's there and get that information in a timely fashion to get your transaction closed early on. Guys, thank you for your time today. I look forward to working with you.